We are back for another episode of this week's Sports Slice. There's been a lot of crazy stuff in the sports world that's occurred over the past week, whether it's the UFC this past weekend with Sean Strickland and Khamzat Chimaev, or WNBA starting, or the NFL is about to have their schedule release being pushed out here super soon, to the NBA and the NHL playoffs going on, and Philadelphia sports just looking awful right now. But without further ado, I'm joined by one of my super close personal friends and former coach, the man, the myth, the legend, Billy Woodmansee. How are you doing?
Good, man. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. So for the people that don't know, we're going to start not sports related here. I guess technically it is sports related, but it's not. So
Okay.
many, many moons ago, when I was in high school, Billy actually came up with a nickname for me. And so obviously we all know my name's Timbo Slice Life 12. So Billy used to call me Timbo Slice, right? And so Billy was a coach at the high school that I was at. And then also Billy also trained me outside of, football. So like doing like personal workouts, all that kind of stuff, small groups. And it was there at your gym that was called The Rise. We're going way back in time.
Rise.
The
We're in the
Rise.
archives, Timmy.
Yep. So it was there. There was one
Love it.
workout, and this workout has stuck with me because there was one workout where it was like an ad on Instagram that you saw, but there was a company that took a Nike shirt and they took a piece of pizza on the shirt and it said "Slice of Life," and then you just started calling me Timbo Slice Life. And then from there, I added the 12 on because that was the jersey number that I wore in college. So that is we are here with the originator of the Timbo Slice of Life name.
You know what? I'm impressed here because typically two stories about us, the same event in the past, do not add up. That is deadly accurate to my memory. I did see the pizza slice with the eyes. There is one piece missing though, which you wouldn't, I don't think, maybe I have, but how I even put it all together was at the time, Kimbo Slice,
Yep.
I think had just maybe passed away, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, he was the legendary backyard street fighter who he actually found Jorge Masvidal. Speaking of
Really?
the UFC, yeah, so Jorge Masvidal used to fight in Kimbo Slice's backyard fights. There's actually a famous viral, you could probably find it on TikTok, but it's Jorge Masvidal driving through a McDonald's drive-through, ordering his food and getting a call from Kimbo being like, "Hey, we have a fight. Do you want to fight at noon?" And he's like, "Yeah, we'll roll up. We're at McDonald's."
Dude, that's crazy. I've never seen that. I didn't know that. And Jorge is obviously a legend in the UFC. I did know the Kimbo thing because it's so funny because whenever I tell people, like when I'm talking to somebody that doesn't know about the social media stuff, I'm always like, yeah, they're like, what's your TikTok name? And it's Timbo Slice Life 12. And they laugh and they're like, oh, it's like Kimbo Slice. And I'm like, yep, sure is. Kimbo Slice, but instead of Kimbo, obviously Timbo. But since we're talking about the UFC right now, UFC 328, what did you think?
We got to do an intro here. That's what I thought about the main event, Timmy, because they fooled us. Timmy, they hoodwinked us. They sold us a Conor and Khabib style feud, and we got pixie dust at the end. I don't know who else. If you comment on this, I would love to know the viewers' take on the beginning of that fight. My eyes shot open when they were friendly. I was like, wait a minute. It was almost like I was so in a show and all of a sudden I saw behind the fourth wall and it broke the illusion. And I hate to say it, Tim, but after that, I cared a little less about that fight.
It's fair. And honestly, I kind of felt the same. It was a great show of sportsmanship after the fight when Khamzat was putting the belt on Sean, but it was completely different from everything leading up. And like, I get it. Like, you have to sell the fights. 100% understand that. But it was, it just seemed like everything was fake. And obviously the UFC is not fake. It's just going forward, I feel like now people are going to question whether or not like fighters actually dislike each other. And like, I
Yes.
saw that firsthand actually at UFC 306 that I was at last year. That was Sean O'Malley and um,
Marab.
Marab. There we go.
Yeah.
And like they're just like chilling, like nothing happened. Now, obviously, Sean O'Malley's like super cool dude, but like there was no bad blood between them. No bad blood between really any of the fighters. Like Alex Pereira's chilling back in the backstage with just whoever, and that's where I met Sean Brady, which Sean Brady's the GOAT
Billy
for me.
boy.
Yeah, yeah. But like they're all just
You
good
got to
friends.
get him some excitement, Timmy. I love Sean Brady. This dude would twist me into a pretzel. I'd never say it to his face. He has to get a little more exciting to sell some tickets, but he
Fair.
is so good.
He is. And he's not I guess some people say that his style of fighting is boring, but like he's not like a Khabib or a Hamzat where they get to the ground and they just sit there. Like he'll actually throw punches. I mean, he had 300 and something significant strikes or whatever this past fight.
Totally.
But yeah, no, I get that. Like he's not yeah, he's not big with the like the promo stuff, I guess, which like he said it himself after his fight because he had his. Now we're gonna just go on a tangent here.
Yeah, I love it.
So Sean Brady, leading up to his fight, had the wild odds shift of he was like a minus 280 favorite. Then it went down to like minus 189.
That's when you texted me. Yep, it was the 189.
Yep. And then from there, about 2 hours before the fight, he went to like plus 190 and then closed. It was plus 240. And so obviously when that happens, instantly the UFC gets notified and they're like, hey, like there's some suspicious activity and people see it. And everybody thought one of two things. Either Sean Brady was hurt or the fix was in. And like, unfortunately it happens. And I guess like the UFC reached out right away and he had no idea because he has Instagram. I don't think he has Twitter. I don't really think he has much in like social media presence except for Instagram. No. And so like he had no idea any of this was going on. And so they called him like 2 hours before the fights and they're like, what, are you good? And I guess he was like, yeah, like I have no idea what you're talking about. And I guess his team told him what, was going on. And he's like, yeah, no, this is BS. And so after the fight, I'm sure you saw it when he was like doing his, talk after with Joe Rogan. He was like, social media is fake. Like all this stuff is fake. Like, I don't care that I've got millions of people betting against me or on me or whatever the case may be. Like, this is my job. This is all I care about. So like, I get it from the standpoint of like that's just not him, but like I totally understand where you're coming from of like he's not like the most popular fighter, and I think the average UFC fan probably has really no idea who he is,
Totally. Yeah, and you have to look at it like the new viewer to the UFC now that they did the Paramount deal, they're getting people that are brand new that don't understand the X's and O's of martial arts. So they couldn't see the masterpiece Sean Brady put on because their palate isn't shifted yet. So if this was their first card, it was a great card for them to see the carnage on it. But I think you kind of look at it like fishing, those big flashy knockout fights are the bait. They chomp down. Now they got the hook in them. And then all of a sudden they see a cool submission. And then the next thing they know, they're loving Sean Brady's style of fighting. But with that said, there will always be, it took a Conor to make a Khabib who largely was not an exciting fighter, a submission style fighter. There just will never be a time where there is a blockbuster submission fighter. They have to beat a top crap talking striker.
Right. And so another fight that was super interesting was the King Green fight. So
wow.
Can we talk about how this is just wild? So King Green, like I guess all week was saying that he wanted the fight bonus because I guess now with the new fight bonuses, it's like 50K.
I love King Green, man.
He's hysterical. But I guess it's not just like one fight. Like they can do a handful of fights. He ended up not getting it.
Did you see his post-fight interview?
I did not, no.
Dana, I gotta say, I'm the most exciting fighter in the UFC, but nobody's giving me a break. I'm not up there. He called him out. It was funny.
Dude, he is hysterical. And so he did not get the bonus, at least last time I checked. but they're letting him wear custom shorts now from now on in
Yes,
UFC,
Dana did say that. They're going to give him the custom shorts.
which obviously it's cool. But
Can't
if
wait.
you gave me the option of 50K or custom shorts, I think I'm going to take the 50K, not going to lie.
Now, it would be interesting to see, because we only know what they allow us to know.
Right.
I would take the shorts if their back end deal when they get said personalized shorts is kind of like this right here,
Right.
where it's merch. Now I can market my shorts in my fight. I could put them on for purchase, and now you're going to make $2. You know, I don't know what the deal is, but you make a little stay at home fun money.
Right. In the long run, in theory, that would make you more money than 50K. You hope.
So
fingers crossed.
Speaking of that fight, I have 6 degrees to separation to Jeremy Stephens. Actually, even less.
All right,
So for those of you that don't know, like Tim said, I did athletic performance, strength conditioning, speed and agility for going on 19 years now. Now is more part-time. I do more on-air talent for golf companies. But in that time, I trained a lot of regional pro fighters. And this was in the heyday of the onset of professional MMA. Now I'm telling you, my guys were making 3 and 3, 3 to show, 3 to win, 600 to take a shin right here. Not for me. And they owed me money to train them, their coach's money. So I saw the real stuff. Jeremy Stephens trained with Dominic Cruz and another dude named Orlando Jimenez, who's actually running for mayor in Arizona right now, who was himself an MMA fighter, but runs Dominic Cruz's gym, who trains Jeremy Stephens. And I got to train OJ and like 3 other pro fighters that were at the gym. It wasn't Jeremy and Dom, but kind of cool.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane. So now that you kind of given your background there, what was the craziest? Has there been this like an insane knockout that you've seen, like in person?
Yeah. My regional, I played junior college football, and then I ended up training one of the receivers. His name is Joey Maiola. He was actually on. It was looking for a fight. He was fighting a dude that they were looking at. He ended up spoiling the guy. Like they ended up looking at. So yeah, I'll send you the link. He ended up losing, but they didn't take the guy because Joey had just put the business on him. But anyway, he was fighting a guy who's an amazing MMA fighter locally named Randy Stanky. And to this day, worst one I've seen in person. Randy was slipping down and Joey just threw like a Masvidal type. It was more of a kick. So he was going to like kick as he was shooting in, but he caught his knee. And dude, like if you've never seen a fight up close, this sound, that is like, you heard that, and then all of a sudden it was just like a lifeless body down. Like it was very concerning.
Dude, that's the one thing.
Everything's fine, but
that's the one thing of like, so being at UFC events, and then also prior to that, I was actually at a smaller promotion. It's called CES. They're based out of the East Coast. But they had done a fight in Fargo, North Dakota, and they're like, "Hey, would you want to come out?" And I'm like, "Sure." So I'm sitting ringside, like sitting with Jimmy Birchfield, and like he's like the CFO of CES. But and so like we're all just sitting there, and there's these dudes that are just throwing leg kicks to the face, and like you just hear bone on bone, and it's like, no, it's just not okay. So it's like a completely different vibe actually being there, whether it's the UFC or a different promotion, and sitting up close and hearing, like you hear it on TV and you're just like, oh, that sucked. Like that had to hurt. But like when you hear it in person, it's like, oh my gosh, that is another human that if that happened to me, my shin's broken. Like,
yeah, it takes some getting used to. Like you have to see it a couple times to like be like okay by it. But yeah, no, it's concerning.
It really is. It really is. But since we're still on the topic of the UFC, we got to talk about the biggest UFC fighter in the world, Conor McGregor. Do you think he's coming? Do you think he's coming back for International Fight Week?
Yeah,
You think so?
I don't think there's any way he's not coming back. I think it was tied to the deal.
Yep.
With that said, I'm super excited about it. There's footage out there of him training. Connor is not the same. I hope people don't expect the old Connor. I
Right.
hope that they receive the new Connor, because what we have to understand is this guy doesn't have, I mean, when I say this, he has his deals with the UFC, but like he doesn't need to do any of this. You know what I mean? So take Connor as Connor 2.0, that's going to be a lesser Connor, and they're going to give him favorable fights, and it's going to be fun. But gone are the like Mystic Mac days.
Yep. Do you think there's a chance that we see a rematch, International Fight Week, Max Holloway, Conor McGregor, his first fight back?
I hope not, because I love both of them. I don't want to see it. I do want to see it. It would be a great fight, but unfortunately, I think that's what they are targeting. So I would say I'm an 8.2 out of 10 on that fight being greenlit, but I don't know who else they would bring. Because Diaz is fighting Mike Perry in the Netflix card with Ronda Rousey, which is an interesting card.
It's insane. Now it's a lot of, not necessarily a lot, but like there's a handful of old timers. Like I'd call Diaz an old timer. Like what, he's pushing 40, isn't he?
Dude, he's my he's my age.
Yeah. And so, but Ronda Rousey, like the return back to MMA is insane. Because what, it's been 8 years, maybe longer, 9 years.
And she did not have a good falling from grace. Ronda's one of those athletes that can't take losing all that well. And I say that respectfully, but when you're at the top so long because her whole life, she was number one. And then all of a sudden you have this public falling from grace. It would be hard to take that loss well, but she doesn't take losses well. So I hope she wins. Gina Carano has been inactive longer than her, though.
Yep. And she was a former Disney star at one point. It's a kind of a crazy situation that happened with all that. But the Ronda Rousey situation's wild because like we're talking about Conor McGregor again, and like the two of them really kind of rose to popularity together. And some people will even say that at one point, you could say Ronda Rousey was more popular than Conor McGregor because there really wasn't anybody in the women's UFC side that like was a star. It was just her. Where like obviously on the men's side, like there's so many legends that were still fighting when Conor was coming to his rise and whatnot. So it's cool to see that she's back. I don't know if she's gonna win, but I don't think she will actually. But
so I actually have a devil's advocate opinion. I think that's done inside 3 minutes armbar.
Really?
Yeah.
There's so much of a size difference looking at the two of them. I'm like, I don't know if Ronda, like, yeah, sure, if Ronda gets to the ground, could be different, but like,
you're probably a little young to remember prime Rousey because you were still in high school. It was about that time that I was training you that all the heyday of MMA. So, Ronda, you are absolutely correct. Ronda started a pop culture like storm with women's MMA. Women's MMA is women's MMA because of Ronda Rousey, and I do think this. You've been on TikTok for a while. You got 1 million followers. People aren't kind in comment sections. I'm on TikTok. I get told I'm small all the time, all this stuff. You know what I mean? People just aren't kind. So now imagine if you were like somebody that helped like build a division of TikTok, or like in Ronda's case, she legitimately saved the women's division, suffers one loss, and then the trolls come.
Yep.
That would give me a little bit of, FU, if you will.
Yeah.
So I get where she's coming. I wish that I wish she reacted differently so that people would understand what a big deal she is in MMA.
Right. I think it's going to be super entertaining though, regardless. And it's on Netflix, right?
It's on Netflix. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, Netflix, like that's another thing. Like all these streaming services have like, they're doing a good job. I know it's a very like catch-22 situation because like You've got the NFL that now is on Netflix. It's on Paramount, like all these different Amazon Prime. But like, although you do have to pay for the subscriptions and whatnot, like they're doing a good job. Netflix with the Jake Paul fight, like take the fight out of it, like it's it's a good product. Like
Yeah, it's
the
entertainment, right?
visuals, yes, and like the visuals and stuff that they have, like it's what the fans want.
Yeah.
So like I'll give Netflix credit, I'll give Paramount credit. The only thing, the commercials during the fighter walkouts is like my biggest pet peeve. I'm like, guys, like this is the best part of the
It's so
fights,
epic. I know. I know.
dude. And like that's the other thing. Um, some of these walkouts, like, and I'm hoping. I know we've got the Freedom 250 fights next month at the White House. I'm hoping they don't go to commercial break during these walkouts. Like, I know they're going to. They have to. But
Dude,
like,
that's the biggest ad time. That's going to be bigger than the
I
Super
know,
Bowl,
I
buddy.
know, I know. I'd
Which
love
Dana
to
White
see.
said that. Do you remember Dana White said the MMA was one day going to be bigger than the Super Bowl?
Yep,
I
this is it.
honestly believe in July when this UFC Freedom, they're going to do bigger numbers than the Super Bowl. That's crazy. Good for
Yeah,
shout out to Uncle Dana.
yeah. Shout out, give a big shout out to Uncle Dana.
Big shout out Uncle Dana calling his shots.
He's crushing it. But yeah, no, I mean, like, if they pass up on Sean O'Malley's walkout, like people are going to be devastated. I was devastated at UFC 306 when Sean O'Malley did not walk out to Superstar. He walked out to
that's epic.
he walked out to oh gosh, what is it? It was like God Bless the USA or something, which cool. But like
very patriotic, but I knew in that moment he was going to lose.
Yeah, it's like you completely changed the vibe. And the entire vibe of the New Jersey Devils Stadium in Newark, New Jersey, which ironically these past fights were in Newark. The entire vibe was just like, what is this? Like, cool, it's a great walkout, but like, it's not Sean O'Malley. Like, it's just not. And then Marab walks out to his whatever song, I don't know what it was.
Yeah,
but like, it was like some hard like Russian rap kind of thing, and I was just like, Sean O'Malley's about to get his ass kicked. Like this is it.
Yeah, this is not a good energy combination right here.
Yep.
Speaking of, so really quick, going back to tie up this last weekend's event of UFC, Joshua Van, for those of you who thought he won his belt on a technicality because Pantoja hurt his leg in the last one, take that. Alternatively, okay, is it a Takakoro Tatsaru?
Yep.
I'm butchering that. Dude won the heart of millions.
Okay? He could have easily given up numerous times.
Here's what I'm saying. Joshua Van needed him to not get knocked out to be Joshua Van.
Yep.
So I don't think either one of them lost stock, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, 100%. And I think that was an interesting fight too, because there was some discrepancy with the doctors or the stoppage there at the end, where like he wasn't knocked out, like he wasn't fighting back, but like it was a good stoppage.
It was a good stoppage,
but it caused people to talk on social media, and at the end of the day, that's what you want, because now your name's out there, and obviously both probably gained just a massive amount of followers, because that was probably the most entertaining fight out of the main card.
Absolutely. Yeah. It certainly wasn't the main card, the main fight, main event.
Just a jab, walk back, jab.
Here's what I'll say about the main event, and we touched on this earlier, but it's you said like the sportsmanship is great, and I totally agree. But I'm of the subscription, okay? If you guys are gonna sell it, you have to, maybe it's the actor in me and the acting school, like you cannot let the image go. Like, so you're either respectful from A to Z or you're disrespectful A to Z. But you come back on Tuesday after the fight and then tweet at each other, call each other, do it. But I really think that the fans didn't want to see them get along because of how they sold it. Now, if they sold it respectfully, then there's that. And here's the problem with those types of gimmicks, though. And we're seeing it with Josh Hokett. You saw in the Freedom 250 press conference. it always takes two. I'm going to keep coming back to that. You have to have a good dance partner. And the UFC isn't the WWE. So if someone's going to have a shtick and someone doesn't, someone's looking awkward. It's usually the one with the stick. We're seeing that with Josh Hokett. I want to like the guy. He's like us, former football guy. I can't understand the character. And then going after Ilya Taporia, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. The one thing I will say, because we got some other stuff to talk about, but with that press conference, Sean O'Malley. Now I'm a big Sean O'Malley guy. Him just sitting there was the funniest thing I think I've ever seen. Like,
so good.
You've got three dudes that could easily just beat him up. Like, let's be honest, Ilya would destroy Sean O'Malley. Alex Pereira wouldn't even be a fight. Hawkett wouldn't even be a fight. And Sean O'Malley knows that. And like he tweeted out, he's like, I've never been so scared for my life, but so safe at the same time.
I saw that.
And he's just sitting there just.
Yeah.
Like, this sucks to be right here.
No expression changed.
No expression. And like, I guess he was recording it the entire time too, because he posted it on social media. And I was just dying laughing. I was like, this is the most Sean O'Malley on brand thing possible. And like he's narrating, he's like, yeah, here's me just taking a couple deep breaths in, and there's just a lot of testosterone. Yeah, breathing through it. It was hysterical. So shout out Sean O'Malley for just being a total vibe.
Hey, shout out to Sean O'Malley for being the vibe. Local guy too. AZ boy. I know his SC, Brandon Harris, amazing strength and conditioning coach in Scottsdale.
There we go. All the connections.
But
yeah, so with that, there's some other sports that kind of kicked off here. So just briefly talk about the WNBA. I know we were talking about disrespectful things, but the Las Vegas Aces, game one, lost 66-99 to the Phoenix Mercury.
Well, you can't. It's the Phoenix Mercury, Timbo. Okay, who's gonna take them down? Tell me. After a score like that.
I mean, I think they actually lost the Mercury. Now, I mean, it's a long season, so like losses happen, but I think they lost yesterday. Yeah, it doesn't matter, but
David and Goliath, baby, I'm here for it.
Yeah, tough start for the Aces. I mean, you win what, 4 of the past 5 WNBA championships. I know, like I said, it's a long season. It happens. They won yesterday. They beat the Sparks, blowout win. Interesting tidbit with the Sparks. Give another shout out to Kate Martin. No relation. Same last name, no relation. She was released by the Valkyrie and then just signed by the Sparks. So hopefully we'll see her playing. She didn't play yesterday. And then on the flip side, Julie Van Loo, who was with the Sparks last season. She was with the Sparks throughout the preseason, played well, got released 48 hours before the first game of the season. Okay.
Sounds like Van Loo dodged a bullet, huh?
Well, wait a minute here. She gets signed by the New York Liberty in a 48-hour time span. Never played for the Liberty, like doesn't know, like, you don't know like the playbook. I know it's different in basketball than like football and stuff, but like it's tough to get an athlete it's tough to get an athlete to just go right away and be like, all right, hey, like you're playing. The Liberty did that because they have some issues with, and not bad issues, but they've got some issues with players that are still playing overseas. So their roster is kind of a shell of itself right now. So they signed her to like their version of like a 10-day contract. And she dropped a double-double, 12 points, 11 assists, and 7 rebounds.
Van Loo!
That's what I'm saying. Let's give her a round of applause. That's insane. Like,
let's go.
That's some good stuff.
Hold up.
And she played yesterday. I think she had like 3. There we go. We got the little. I think she had like 3 or 4 points yesterday, which is fine. Like, you're not gonna always drop a double-double. But I think the WNBA is so fascinating right now because there's so many eyes on it, and it's such a shout out the WNBA for their timing because like there's really not much going on. Like you've got baseball, but like baseball is such a long season.
Yeah.
NHL, NBA playoffs, like the playoffs are terrible right now. Maybe I'm biased being a Philly sports fan and both teams got swept.
Yeah.
But like I think there's just we're seeing so much more popularity with the WNBA, and I think it's only going to continue to rise. Especially too, like you're getting more big names in the W, like Paige Beckers. We saw Paige Beckers versus Caitlin Clark to start out the regular season.
I
Crazy.
did a movement assessment on Paige Beckers when she was in college.
Yep.
It did some numbers on TikTok, and she cleaned. I swear she liked it. Paige, if you're out there, you're welcome. But she cleaned up her movement quality after that surgery. And I
Yep.
swear to you, obviously I taught her everything she knows. Duh. No, I'm kidding. But I do think she saw that. I think it helped her walk with your feet straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which like that, all the movement stuff is so interesting. For those that don't know, Billy is like a movement expert. So like whenever there's any sort of like sports injury, he's probably breaking it down on TikTok or Instagram, whatever it may be. And like you just don't realize how you talk about gates, I think, right?
Yeah.
It's gates.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's
like
the natural gait.
Yep.
We get away from natural movement.
Right. And it's just so fascinating how, and I know I actually got to see it firsthand when we went to the, I think it's called the Mobile Six Bowl, but it's something else now in Arizona at Chase Field. It was UNLV versus Kansas. Gosh, what is it called? Doesn't matter. But
Insight.com Bowl, wasn't it? Was it
Insight? It was the Insight, and then it was Mobile Six, and now is it the Cactus Bowl?
It might be.
I should know this. This is
over
bad.
there at Chase.
Yeah, so it was during.
You got a lot on your plate, Timmy. We're here for you.
I think it was 2 years ago. It was UNLV Kansas, but we were sitting right behind UNLV's bench, and you were talking about how like injuries could happen just based on how some of like the players are riding on the bikes, and like you broke down like their movement on the bike while they're just like keeping their legs warm and stuff, and all that's just so fascinating. How like just a simple movement or even wearing the wrong shoes could lead to injury. And we saw that with, and I don't know if you saw that, JSN, Jackson Smith Njigba.
Yes.
They were telling, I guess it came out like a month ago now, that he was wearing the wrong size shoes at Ohio State that led to his hamstring injuries. And he comes to the Seahawks and, he's meeting with the Seahawks personnel and like they do like more in-depth, kind of breakdowns of like your feet and stuff instead of being like, hey, what size shoe do you wear? And they're like, yeah, no, you're not an 11 and a half. You're actually like a 10. And like, he never knew that. Like, it's just so fascinating to me.
And here's where well, real quick, I want to give the ladies their time. So with the WNBA and all the exciting news that is surrounding that, did we wrap that up or do we have more WNBA news?
No, we can talk as long as we want about the WNBA.
Well, so here, I'll cross them. So like Paige, everyone is more or less suffering from the same problem, but with women, they're just more susceptible from the ages of 14 to 24 for ACL injuries. Right. More just lifestyle driven. You know what I mean? With that being said, the natural way in which we move gets taken because of conveniences in life like chairs, shoes, things like that. With the Jackson Smith Njigba thing, when somebody says this is where the media is going to go crazy and it's going to get the wrong narrative and breed more trends, it's going to hurt more people. That's usually how it goes. But it's not the size that's necessarily what the issue was. It's the space the toes have to move. Jackson Smith Njigba, wildly powerful, super agile, right? Those natural beings, and we'll just call them the animals in the wild, not people, real animals, like toe splay, everything natural made when we're ready to grip and rip, everything's ready to go. Like we're down, we're splaying, we're absorbing energy and then releasing energy. When you cannot do that, your body will take the path of least resistance. What will happen is little notches along the kinetic chain that over time will show themselves as an injury. This happened to Deion Sanders. I fully believe that there's a brand Deion Sanders did business with that ultimately was the reason his foot is in the way that it is. I think they're taking care of him. I love that brand. I have no problems with it. I think we're all just learning. But yes, big problem in the athletic shoe game. But fortunately, We are seeing companies now going to wider toe boxes. Shout out to CleatX. They are a new company by a former NFL player, and they design wide toe box. They just came out with it. I think it's because I've been beating them with comments back in the day. But everything's about me. But anyway, I'm kidding.
It's your world. We're all just living in it.
That move. They have cleats that move with you, that help absorb the energy the right way. And their goal is to limit the non-contact injury. I'm so here for it. Shout out CleatX. Yeah.
I think also, and since we brought up non-contact injury, I think the debate of turf versus natural grass is such an interesting one because, like, I love turf. Like, I never had an issue with turf. Now, obviously, that would change after one injury. But I guess, like, studies do show that, like, natural grass is better for the human body. Also, like, we're seeing FIFA with the World Cup coming to the US. They are making all of the stadiums in the US not only get rid of their branding temporarily, but also they're making them like put down like natural sod or grass. We're seeing it with the Giants Stadium, which the Giants Stadium probably has the worst turf. No offense to MetLife Stadium, but there's so many non-contact ACL, MCL, LCL injuries that happen at that stadium. There's got to be a correlation, right?
Yes, there is. I believe it gets a little diluted. The root cause is always movement. All dysfunction starts at the feet. So we'll use that as the baseline, right? If we can agree that overarchingly it is a movement quality issue that's creating these, we can then have constructive conversations about the environment we're on. So with we know it's a movement thing first. Are there certain environments that are easier to change direction on? Sure, absolutely. If you can get soccer, for example, it's what they're doing is more like Augusta. They're keeping it pure to the pitch. Soccer players play on a pitch. They don't, like true diehards, don't call it a field. They go, we're out on the pitch today. That is a natural sod grass. Okay. You can fly on a pitch. So football fields were a pitch like at the beginning, but then turf came and then you could fly on turf even faster. Right. So we're all talking about PEDs. Let's look at the ground. We're on.
True.
Okay.
True.
But going back to that, yes, I do think there's an instance, the old carpet turf twisted more knees and ankles than the new grass-like turf. Nothing beats real grass and natural movement.
Right.
That's the overarching.
That's fair. So we're going to kind of transition since we're talking about the NFL. Again, shout out the WNBA, off to a great start. Super excited for, what's to come the rest of the season. But the NFL schedule release is coming up here very shortly. I believe it's next week early, but we're already getting some leaks that have come out. So the very first Sunday night game is the Dallas Cowboys versus the New York Giants. This is honestly, now I'm an Eagles fan, but this is one of my favorite games of the year, and it usually is played early on a Monday night or a Sunday night, because whenever I see this, I instantly, the first thing that comes to my mind is the Odell Beckham crazy one-handed catch he had on the sideline against the Cowboys. So it's like, are we going to get a crazy moment like that this year? Probably not. It'll probably be like actually a decent game, because the Giants, in theory, should be a lot better than they have been over the past 6 years. But I know you're a Cardinals guy.
Cardinals guy, yeah.
Are you excited for Carson Beck or?
I am. Here's the thing. As a Cardinals fan, what I've learned is to not get overly excited about stuff, because as a Cardinals fan, so I'm born and raised in Arizona, 43 years here. We have never had great owners. I say that with love because I think everybody's trying their best, but if we're in it to win, they don't do the right things. I think the Kurt Warner move was an absolute Hail Mary that was tipped 3 times and worked out into a touchdown. And I love Kurt Warner, right? But I'll be honest, when we got him, I was like, what are we doing here? And it worked out.
And you had Matt Leinart too at the time, which we know Matt's career wasn't Yep, we know it didn't really pan out how most Cardinals fans thought, but I mean, it was such a weird move, and I know that was a little bit before my time too, because that would have been the early 2000s, like what, 2006 was his first year.
Yeah. Well,
So, so I would have been like
yeah.
7, but like I
So
know Matt Leinart because it's like USC legend didn't really do much in the NFL.
I am excited about the draft class and everything that the Cardinals have going on. I am gonna patiently wait. My son Jackson, he loves fantasy football. He doesn't have a team. He's just a player. So like I just kind of at my age now with him, I just attach to him and kind of fanboy over what he's fanboying on while keeping an eye overarchingly on it all. But I do remember the game that took Matt Leinart's soul. It was against the Bears. The infamous Denny Green press conference.
Yep,
That was the game. Dude, if you go back and watch that game, the first half, Matt Leinart was him.
really.
Are you ready for some football? You could hear him. He's literally go back and look at the clips. He is sawing them. I don't know what happened in the locker rooms in halftime. Briggs gave a speech. Someone gave a speech that
Got the
when the
boys riled
Bears came
up.
out, it went from bad to worse. Matt Leinart was never the same. It was
That's
a Monday
crazy.
Night Football. Yeah.
The one memory I have of Matt Leinart, and like I do remember him slightly with the Cardinals, but I really remember him more. I think it was with Oakland, the Raiders at the time, or Buffalo, one of the two. I think it was a preseason game where he threw like 4 picks. And I know he's talked about
Yeah,
it on social media because he's big on social media. But
he
I was
does.
just like, who is this guy? Like, what is this? And it's like, wait a minute. That's the same guy that was at USC that was throwing 40 touchdowns and absolutely dicing up my Irish. Like, what the heck?
Just a
Shout out Matt
liability
Leinart.
out there.
We love Matt Leinart, great
Yeah.
dude. Same thing with the Bidwell family. I know we talked, but shout out the Bidwells.
Shout out to Bidwells.
You guys are doing as good as you can. You know,
Yeah, and here's what a lot of people don't know, and I know this being an athletic performance for years. The margin from high school to college, that is a huge jump.
right?
From college to pro is molecular. Everybody is an All American. Matt Leinart will go down in history as one of the greatest college quarterbacks of all time, and that is something to hang your hat on. That's a life achievement.
Hundred
And I
percent.
love the dude. He's a
Yeah,
great guy. Yeah,
yeah.
I follow him. He's a great dude.
I know you were talking about how Jackson is doing some fantasy football. I'll tell you, don't ever let him get advice from me about fantasy football. You'll appreciate this. So, I was in a fantasy football league this year. I don't know if I told you this. Everybody on TikTok knows about this. Talked about it on the TikTok radio. If you're not listening to TikTok radio, you guys should be.
Yeah, for sure. Tune into
but,
TikTok radio. Legit.
But while like we were talking, they're like, "Hey, like, are you good at fantasy football?" No, not good at fantasy football. Which is shocking because like it's football's my entire life,
Me
but I'm
neither. Yeah.
just not good at it. And so in this league that I was in, made a joke. I was like, "Hey, like we should have like some sort of punishment." Person that finishes last place, I was like, "How funny would it be?" Like all of us are like former athletes and whatnot, and I was like, "How funny would it be if we, had somebody run a marathon for finishing last?" Not only is that individual running a marathon at the end of this year in Hawaii, but they have to do it in one of those blow up dinosaur costumes, That individual's me. I finished last. I came up with the idea. I have to do my own idea.
So
Ask
wait,
me.
you have to run a Hawaii a marathon? A
Yep.
whole marathon, not a 5K?
No, whole marathon
23.2 miles?
in the dinosaur blow up costume.
That's wild.
Yeah, so when I come back to Arizona, we're gonna have to really just start grinding training. I've been doing some light jogs and stuff, but like a 4 mile jog is not gonna cut it for a marathon. And now the thing is like I just have to finish. So like I'll take all day walking the 26 miles or whatever.
We're walk running this thing.
Yeah, we're gonna
Real quick, what island is it? I'm like that. My soul is on Hawaii. Kauai
You know what?
specifically.
Let me pull it up right now. We're gonna take a slight intermission. Let's see. All I know it's like middle of December, which I also had no idea that like the winter time in Hawaii, like the November, December, like it's actually like humid there. Like there was a buddy of mine that's from Hawaii, and he's like, hey, like, I hope you know that it's going to be like 93% humidity in December. And
Yeah,
I
it's
was like,
not cold. Yeah.
I was like, here I thought it would be like 50 degrees, just a nice ocean breeze. He's like, no, it'll be like 75 sunny and about 90% humidity. And I was like, I really hope I don't finish last. Proceeded to lose the last 3 games of the season. It's in Honolulu, December 13th,
Oh, yeah.
2026.
So the Pro Bowl is.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's happening. Breaking news to some, but yeah. So
Gonna get yourself a slice of a marathon there.
seriously, like we're gonna have to give an update not even every mile. It's gonna be like every 0.3 miles. Tim, how you feeling? Not good. I should have ran more. But we're gonna go right back into talking about some sports here. So I know I mentioned the NBA and the NHL playoffs. You know me, like you've known me for a long time. I'm a very superstitious person. Probably one of the most superstitious person anybody will ever meet. And I was that way as an athlete. I'm even more that way as a diehard Philly sports fan. So, like I said earlier, the Flyers 76ers both got swept in terrible fashion. 76ers, you kind of expect it because, like, it's the second round. They never get past the second round. But to lose 144 to 114 game 4 in Philly and have your stadium completely taken over by Knicks fans is just insane. However,
it's diabolical.
It's diabolical. However,
Yeah.
I think there's a reason behind it. Now, love Wawa. Wawa is like anybody that's ever been to the East Coast. It is the East Coast version of
Wawa.
It's exactly. It's
Shout out Wawa.
Shout out Wawa. It's the East Coast version of Buc-ee's. If anybody knows what Buc-ee's is, okay? Wawa, the great pretzels, great food. Like it's not a normal gas station. Wawa always does these collaborations with Philly sports teams. And usually when they do a collaboration, it's like, wow, like the Phillies were just terrible and now they've won 23 straight games. Kyle Schwarber has a million home runs all of a sudden. Like usually when they do these collaborations, these Philly sports teams just become ungodly incredible. Like it makes no sense. They did it with the Phillies a couple years ago. The Phillies go and make a run to the World Series.
Yep.
They did something with Saquon Barkley. The Eagles go to the Super Bowl. It's crazy. The Wawa decided to come out with the Gritty Shake, which, if people don't know, Gritty is the Philadelphia Flyers mascot that is just a diabolically insane individual.
The Gritty Shake.
The Gritty Shake. Have no idea what's in it. It's a cool picture. Like, you get a cool little cup with Gritty's face on it and whatnot. The Phillies were awful. They go and fire their manager. Phillies, since the Gritty Shake has come out, playing lights out. Top 10 team in baseball. The 76ers and the Flyers, however, lost every single game since. 0-8 combined since the Gritty Shake was released. So I was like, oh man, like this is going to be, this is going to be the reason why the Flyers specifically go and somehow make a crazy run. They shouldn't even be in the playoffs, but make a crazy run, Stanley Cup maybe. No. I think it's time. This is Wawa. This is to you. I think it's time. I know the Gritty Shake has only been around for 8 days. It's time to retire the Gritty Shake because what has occurred since the last episode of Sports Slice where I was shouting out the 76ers for coming back and beating Boston in Game 7 is just unfathomable. This is ridiculous. There's no other way to describe it. Like, it's got to go.
Wawa, that's unacceptable. But you have awesome food.
Yep, exactly.
It's turning into a curse.
Yeah, right. It's the Gritty Shake curse. Nobody's calling it except for me. You'll probably see another video on it because I've talked about it 3 times on TikTok. Gonna be the 4th one today.
Dude, I feel like anybody that gets a shake gets cursed. Remember Grimace? I believe Grimace died.
The Grimace Shake.
Grimace died.
Really?
Remember that trend? Well, no, it was like the trend was everyone.
Yeah, it was on like TikTok. They made it big, and I think it was the Knicks.
You don't want a shake.
Yeah. I think it was the Knicks too that like really got in. There was some professional team that really got into like the Grimace thing, and like I think they did a collaboration.
I think it might have been the Knicks. You're right.
It was a New York team. It was either like the Knicks or the Rangers or somebody. Maybe it was Madison Square Garden that just did something with it. But like Grimace would show up and the other team would lose.
Yep.
The Gritty Shake shows up and the Philly teams lose.
Not good.
No, but we're going to my favorite part of the podcast. The slice of unbelievable. Now, this one's a crazy one. So, Billy, if you don't know, the slice of unbelievable is essentially the part of the podcast where I talk about some crazy thing that's happened in sports that's just, it's unbelievable. So in the past, talking about the 76ers coming back down 3-1 in the series against Boston. In other segments, I've talked about how the Buffalo Sabres made the playoffs for the first time in 5,000 days. But this week's slice of unbelievable is none other than Selhurst, South London, England's Crystal Palace soccer team or football team
Crystal Palace.
for those on the East Coast, or excuse me, over in Europe and around the world. So Crystal Palace, let's break them down here for a second. So the origins of the team date all the way back to 1861, but they officially became a team in 1905. Crystal Palace made their first ever UEFA conference final in club history. Like, we're talking 200 years.
Almost BC times.
Right. This is like 200 years of, I know in the past we've talked about like the Buffalo Sabres of like, hey, like I didn't get to watch my team make the playoffs in 5,000 days. Could you imagine being a fan? Well, I guess you can, Arizona Cardinals. But could you imagine being a fan of a team
It's not fair.
that like just has not done anything? Now, to even add more to this, they actually won their first European trophy. Now, that is like kind of a big step below. It's still great, but a big step below the, making a conference league final. But they won their first European trophy just last year in club history, which is also insane. And
that is crazy.
Right? And
crazy losing streak.
To add even more to this club almost closed down twice. So they almost ran out of money in 1999 and in 2010. And last year, they just lost a whole bunch of players that signed bigger contracts elsewhere in the world. There we go.
You got it. Yep.
There we go. But it's so fascinating to me that like, here's a team that truthfully, I've played FIFA my entire life. Great game. Never in my entire life have I ever played with Crystal Palace, let alone even up until today, could not tell you what the logo looks like. Like,
nope.
Never heard of it. And when like I was doing my research and whatnot, and I'm like, Crystal Palace, like, is this like a hotel or something?
It's gotta
like,
be.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I was like, yeah. No, it's an actual soccer team. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like this is legit. So again, this week's moment for the slice of unbelievable goes to none other than Crystal Palace.
Crystal Palace FC in the house. Man, yep. That's wildly impressive. And I have a team that had it worse than the Cardinals. They still do. It's the boy I love losing Super Bowls, the Bills.
You do have a great point. But at least Bills fans can say, hey, we've been to numerous Super Bowls.
Yes.
Crystal Palace fans, up until now,
they got one.
They don't really have much to hang their hat on.
Listen, Wawa, you stay away from Crystal Palace.
Wawa, stay away from Crystal Palace, or else we're gonna get gritty after you.
Yeah, it's not gonna end well, Wawa. Darn it! But hey, that is really cool about Crystal Palace. Everyone, see, honestly, I'll uncle speak here. Okay, let the unk come out of me here.
Unk is here.
Perseverance always wins. Always wins. Exactly. So they almost quit. They almost ran out of money. They almost this. They had a lot of stress. They just simply never stopped putting one foot in front of the other. When life seems at its most overwhelming, just remember, everything comes one day at a time. It's take it one day at a time, breathe through it, stay on the line. 9.5 times out of 10, you will always meet your goal.
That is some great advice, honestly. And I think
that's what I'm here for, Timmy. That's why you pay me the big bucks.
There we go. Wait, are we paying him?
You're paying me, right?
Yeah. And I think, I'm just going to give a little plug here. I think there's one company that, like what you just said, they simplified into 3 words.
Let's hear it.
Just do it.
Baby Nike. Let's go.
There we go.
Yeah.
But
No,
anyways,
honestly.
dude, it's been great having you on. You
Thanks,
know
Timmy.
what? I know you kind of gave some advice there, but every single episode, I've been kind of ending it this way. Do you have one piece of advice, you being a former athlete yourself, to any athletes or people just in general, just life advice?
Oh shoot, I got
I
plenty.
know I'm putting you on the spot.
But I think in the quest for overall health and happiness in life, it is your life will always be a collection of your best efforts, not your accomplishments. More than likely, your happiness will be shaped by all the things you tried to do and didn't succeed, if that makes sense. You want to collect your best efforts and collect as many smiles throughout life as you can, because making people smile is a sense of self medicine and overarchingly everyone's medicine. Next time you're in a bad mood, just force yourself to smile. You'll see what I mean. So, in closing, I guess my secondary life message is don't take yourself so seriously in life. It's not about your accomplishments, it's about the effort you're putting into it. And then collect as many smiles as you can along the way. And at the end of it, you should have health and happiness.
That is a mic droppable statement. Boom. Imagine I just dropped a mic. Boom. There we go. That was awesome.
Thanks, man.
But it's great advice, and hopefully there's somebody out here that, you know what, maybe that changed their outlook on things.
Stay strong.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But again, appreciate you for coming on. This has been a super entertaining conversation, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
It's fun. Thanks, Timmy. Anytime, buddy.